How's it going, everybody? We're the Molloy twins, and this is just a quick reminder before we get into the episode. So we're currently just over 3 weeks out from our live event in the Louis Fitzgerald Hotel on Saturday the 30th of March. Tickets are now available and it will be great to see you there. So grab your tickets now through the link in our bio or shoot us a direct message and we'll get you sorted out. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this episode of the Molloy Twins podcast. And today we're joined by a very special guest, a local lady, business owner, a mammy, and an all-around top woman, Ciara Murray. Ciara, thank you for coming down and jumping on the podcast.
Thanks so much, guys, for having me. Honoured. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So we like to kick off, keep it nice and informal to begin with, throw some questions at you, because you come from a couple of different angles that we're really interested in speaking to you about, particularly the fitness angle, because it's such a big, obviously, industry and a big thing nowadays, and also business and being self-employed, an entrepreneur. And then on top of that, if it's not complex enough, being a mother, raising a family, like these things too. So I know you're the one who has your hands full.
Yeah.
Let's kick things off nice and easy. We want to just throw some quick fire sort of questions at you about fitness and all the rest to see what your thoughts are as a personal trainer and someone with years of experience within the industry.
Yep, go for it.
The first one is something that we see a lot of people and a lot of, I'd say 30s, 40s plus nowadays, going towards this route where it's taking like weight loss pills or using injections for weight loss as opposed to getting into the gym or anything like that. So what's your take on that and why?
Don't agree.
Don't agree?
Don't agree. It's just an easy way out, I think. And I suppose each to their own, but I think in a little more long-term sustainable, you start with your calorie deficit, your weight loss goals, and just setting those goals and going for them instead of just going for a certain pill or a certain injection. So yeah, no, I wouldn't agree with that.
Red light. Am I right in thinking a lot of your clientele be women, Ciara?
Yeah, a lot of women that have never been in a gym before and weight loss or fat loss clients.
Yeah. Perfect. And this one will be relevant. So green light or red light, the idea that you shouldn't lift weights if you don't want to get bulky.
Red light. Definitely. Everyone always says that, especially women. I don't want to get bulky, but they don't realise when they get into it and they see how their body composition changes, they mightn't even like lose certain amount of weight, but they'll just see their body composition change, the more muscle mass they have, and they're like, okay, I get it. Yeah. Obviously with a good balanced diet as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another thing probably is applicable for men too, but I think particularly women, you see it, is when it comes to weight loss, they tend to just ramp up the cardio and they just go crazy, running long walks,
cardio
all this.
Bunnies. Yeah,
what do you think about that?
I think you need a mix of both. So I would have been one of them. But then when I started weight training, it's just, as I said before, it's just body composition change. Your body just changes and the feeling of being strong. So I'd have a good mix. So if I'm doing a session with someone, I'd probably do like 45 minutes of weight training and finish off maybe with 15 minutes of cardio. You need cardio as well, but you don't need to do it every single day.
Nice. So, deadly.
Yeah.
The idea of carbs making you fat, or you need to stop eating bread if you want to lose weight.
Carbs are essential, obviously small amounts. But no, definitely I don't agree with carbs that make you fat. So carbs in small portions, and you definitely need, especially if you're training 3 to 5 times a week, you definitely need to up your carbs, but keep them at a limit.
No more quick fire. I am interested to know though, do you feel like when you got into business, did you see a gap in the market whereas like women aren't being served by the current sort of crop of personal trainers, or was it just it felt more comfortable for you to work with women because you are a woman?
I think it felt more comfortable for women to work with me because I was a woman. I actually don't think in the first year I didn't have any men.
Really?
In the first year to come near me, So I had a lot of women, fat loss, weight loss clients, and I just grew from there. So no men at all at the start. Now I do. I have a couple.
Oh, you do?
But they be like brothers or partners of the girls that are in the gym. You know, that kind of way that might come to me for a couple of sessions a week. But at the start, no.
We were chatting a little bit off camera. I know obviously now you're in the fitness industry, but you weren't always a PT or have your own gym. You've been through a few different jobs and stuff like that.
Just it's been a long road.
As much as you're comfortable sharing, just give us a bit of background. Like, what did you start off doing going through school? What did you want to do after school? Was it fitness related? Was it something different?
No, never. So I left school and I went to DCU to do a teaching course.
I wanted to be a teacher.
Did you?
Yeah.
I lasted about 10 months there. I got in front of a camera and I stood up in front of a class and I was like, no, this is not for me. Took a year out, got a job in Joel's. Went back to college, did languages, went to Canada then for a year and came back then. Didn't want to do languages, so I was trying to find what I wanted to do in life. Went back to Joel's, Then I fell pregnant with Max, and after he was born, I had a horrible birth, emergency section, the whole works. And after that, I was like, oh my God, I hate myself, my body. I was just like, now I need to get into something. Never lifted a weight before. So anyway, I joined a strength training gym and just got stuck into it. I was like, this is a bit weird. Is this going to work? Is this working for me, in the back of my head? But as I continued, I persevered with it. I was doing my 3-4 sessions a week. Sweet. And just loved how I started growing in strength, like my squats, I could do chin-ups. That's how I fell in love with strength training. So it was from there. Max was 6 months old, and then I said, feck it, I'll go and I'll do the course. So after that, I decided I was going to go out and branch out on my own. So I'm originally from Parmastown, so I went to the community college, or community centre in Parmastown, asked could I rent a hall. So you're trekking like dumbbells and stability balls up these lifts.
Oh no.
Disaster. I think it was €40 to rent the room. I was probably getting 3 or 4 clients. Like sometimes I was handing out tenner to actually pay for it. But I persevered. I was like, no, I need to pass this feeling on. How good strength training has made me feel. I just really had a passion for it and a drive for it, and I was so enthusiastic. I was like, no, I need to pass this on to other women. People don't understand that lifting weights makes you feel like this. And I said, I'll just take the risk and try open my own place. But at the time, knew nothing about business, didn't have a penny. I was like, what am I supposed to do? My mum was so encouraging. She says to me, just Google it. There has to be. Their mum's always great for grants and stuff like that, you know. She knew the ins and outs of it all. And I remember Googling and just saying, is there any help? And popped up the local enterprise office up in Tala. So like that, just thinking about just a small idea in my head, sent them an email. Hi, I'm thinking about opening a business. What do I need to do? Is there any help out there? Blah, blah. So got in touch with this amazing person called Peter Connolly. I went down and met him. He talked me through everything that I could be entitled to. Borrowed some money, and they give you 50% back. So whatever you put into a business, they'll give you 50% back of anything internal. And if you're, say, to do signs out the front, they give you 60% back. So here I'm scrummaging to get all this money together. Did all that, and then I opened my first unit in Watery Lane in Clondalkin. It was tiny, but it was the best place ever. I loved it. Brilliant. Came up with the name. It was actually my mum's partner at the time, Don. He was like, I'll do your logo. He's like into all this animation, and he's so creative and stuff like that, you know. So he was like, I'll do the logo. So now, how would you say it? Do you know how to pronounce it?
We actually had this conversation on the way up, yeah. But there's a few. It's either CiFit or CiFit or CiFit. Like you could go straight
you go either way, yeah. Right.
Or maybe it's German, is it?
yeah. So my nickname growing up was Key for Ciara. So it is CiFit.
CiFit, right. I had a feeling because the logo then is like the key to transformation.
Yeah, key to new you was where we were going with that.
Okay, that makes
whenever
sense.
You worked out, the people like, see, I fit down the road, or or like, I knew it wasn't working when the first, I think must have been the first 6 months in business. I literally had a full class, and everyone was down on the floor doing planks, and a knock on the door came, and they opened, and she's like, she had a fire and she was waving at him. She goes, hiya, do you want to get me Kiko?
Daily.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I need to change the logo. But no, we kept going anyway with it. But so it was 18 months. Will I just keep rambling?
Yeah.
I was 18 months in Watery Lane and created such a nice energy there, created such a buzz, really loyal clients, like scared they're with me still now, you know, that way. The retention has been really good because it's like I said from the start, we have that bond, and that it's just something different, it's something special. And they've become friends. So many friendships have been made, and from Watery Lane right up till now. We're 18 months there, and then lockdown here. So I was like, oh my God, disaster, what am I going to do here? So I rented out the equipment. We started Zoom online, Zoom classes ranging from strength to cardio classes, whatever. I was doing that in my kitchen twice a week. Twice a night for however. Ooh, twice a night.
That's heavy, yeah.
So it was a long time doing it. Bills still had to be paid. Rent still has to be paid, I still had to go on, so I had to get it from somewhere. Then I was doing pay to go, so I was getting girls that never were in the gym before, just pay me $5 to join in the class. I'd be sending them the link. I know they could do it on YouTube, but I think it was being part of a live kind of show and stuff like that. Everyone had their camera on and stuff. So that was was that 2 years?
Yeah, it was about a year and a half, 2 years of on and off, for that.
So when I got the text or something, or the email to say that gyms could be open. We're getting ready for that, and I can't remember what year that was. 2020, wasn't it?
Started end of 19, and then I think February, March 2020. COVID restrictions came in.
It kind of came back for a little while, and then it was all over the place, wasn't it?
I think it was about 21.
Yeah,
it probably was.
It was 21, wasn't it? Yeah, because I remember it was around the June.
Yeah, that's right.
It was around the June, and the April, that's when my mum got diagnosed with lung cancer. So this is another blow. I was like, oh, my mum, God love her, she was the best in the world, but a bit of a hypochondriac at times. So she's like, I can't breathe. I was like, you'll be grand. And at the time I was stressing about the gym, this was the April, and we were getting ready to open up in the June, back into Watery Lane. So I was like, okay, grand, I'll bring her for her bits and pieces at the appointments and stuff like that. So she actually lived in Westmeath, so I used to go down and bring her and just get her sorted. And she was diagnosed in the April with stage 4 lung cancer. Never ever experienced cancer before in my life, didn't have a clue about it. She was told that she would be able to receive chemo, but that it was terminal, non-operable. I had gone that far, transferred to her lymph nodes and stuff like that. So I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And she was so strong and so brave. And she was literally my biggest fan. So now I'm the eldest of 5, so I'm trying to deal with her, make sure she was my priority. I'll have 100 girls in the background going, when are we opening, what are we doing, you know? So that was another blow, but sure, this is life, I suppose, at the end of the day. This is it. So fortunately, after 6 weeks, 2 weeks after she was diagnosed, she got very sick. She got pneumonia, and she was 4 weeks in hospital and she passed away. So it was very quick. Very, very quick. So 6 weeks, she passed away on the 27th of June. So we're literally just in the middle of kind of opening the gym and stuff like that. Then we were opening the gym, hit with another blow that the apartments are going to be up and running.
Oh yes.
So we need to evacuate and find somewhere else in 6 months.
So where her gym was in Watery Lane, they were basically knocking it down and building apartments. Oh, okay. She's getting kicked out. And was that a last minute thing you were made aware of? It was
it was kind of rumours going around a few units, and I was like, I don't believe that, because the Polish shop there had only opened or only renovated. They put thousands in. Do you know that Polish shop that's there? Huge, really, really big place. And we were talking amongst ourselves on that. They won't do that and stuff, but they did. So found another unit where I am now. And it was Mum was looking down at me, and I was blessed with that place. Moved in there then in 21. But it was a big, huge industrial unit. Didn't feel like my own. Didn't feel like Watery Lane, you know. So I needed to put my stamp on it. Then, as I was saying earlier on, I went back playing football, broke my ankle. I was sitting at home for a few weeks, and I decided I'm going to make this my own. I'm a bit of a doer. I'm get up and go for it if you're not happy with something. So I put a top floor on the new gym and made it feel a little bit like Watery Lane did. So now we've got 2 levels. Sick. And thriving from there. That's my story in how many minutes. But I think that's about it. So we're loving where we are now. It definitely feels like Watery Lane did, and we're just bringing in new things all the time. We've got an over 55s class, we've got small group training, we do teen classes, do a bit of everything. Deadly. So that's where we are now.
It's some transition. It's a serious story.
I'm trying to think that I missed anything.
We do always laugh about how many jobs we might have had or different things. You've worked in so many different industries and met so many different people.
That's it. I think if you can work in Joel's, you can work anywhere as well.
Fact. Hospitality. That would break it. So I did want to ask you something though, because as you were talking through that story, and I may have missed something because it was a long story, but I think the first time you mentioned having some level of self-consciousness or body consciousness was after your pregnancy. Leading up to your pregnancy, before you were pregnant, I know you played football, but were you consciously unhappy with your appearance, or was it really just after being pregnant that kind of setting?
It was just after beforehand, because I think it's a lot of it's in your head, isn't it? You know, I was really active, and when you're pregnant it's so much harder. It can be so much harder. I know they encourage and they recommend that you do, if you've always trained, to keep going when you're pregnant. They don't necessarily doctors, when I'm saying this, I'm talking about the medical professionals, they don't recommend that you take it up just because you're pregnant. So if you have been doing something to keep it going, But like things kick in, like tiredness and you're nauseous and all that. It kind of helps or kind of prevents you or stops you to go from going to the gym as many times as you want, you know. So no, when I was pregnant, I kind of did it for a couple of months and like that just fell off the wagon. So I was doing nothing. I was doing nothing, just sitting at home waiting for this baby to be born.
Well, doing nothing to be grown a human inside of you.
Yeah, waiting for the space tomorrow so I can get my head back in the game.
Just chilling for 9 months.
Yeah. So no, I was fine fine before. It was just after, and it was probably a mix of hormones. Like women are all over the place after having a baby. Like it's terrible. So no, I would say it was after. Yeah. Before it was fine. It was just afterwards.
That's interesting. I don't want to ask a real question, but what age were you when you gave birth?
I was 28.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So up until 28, you didn't really get into gyms too much. You weren't weight training or strength training at all. It was only after that.
It was mostly after. I did what's the expression? Dip my toe in, I suppose. Yeah. Every now and again, might have done a bit of boot camp or something small, but never really got stuck into the weights until after that. And then I never looked back. Now I wouldn't go a week without going to the gym at least 3 times.
That's
it's
mad,
just built into my lifestyle now, you know.
For sure.
Like a demon when I don't go.
And would you see many women who may be even older than 28, maybe into their 30s or 40s, who come to work with you, for example, and they're literally just getting started in weight training or doing any of that stuff at that age?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I have 73-year-olds. I have a 76-year-old.
No way.
Yeah, who never, like everyone comes to the gym for their own reasons, right? So this lady came to me and she's like, I just want to be able to put a tin of beans in my press. You know, so she started training and like she couldn't get on the floor, for example. She couldn't do sit-ups. Now she's bouncing up and down off the floor. She's on your line on the bench to do a press or a chest press or something, and it's so hard if you've no core strength to get off the bench. People like when they start off, that's like one of the hardest parts, and it's embarrassing for them. But now I'm like, wait for it. In a couple of months you'll be springing off that bench, and they do, you know. So everyone comes for different reasons and at all different ages. 100%. Yeah,
that's deadly.
Yeah,
it's cool because I think some people get to a point where they think, it's too late. I'm too old to start now. And they could be like 40. It's like you're probably going to have another 40 years. Yeah. So what do you mean it's too late to start? Like it's now is the best time you have to start because you're not going to get any younger. Yeah,
this is it. And like that, I had another girl, 40 as well, and she only actually told me the story the other day. She's with me over a year and a half, and when she started, she's an amazing girl. When she started, she was like so brand new, and to look at her, I thought like she might have a bit of strength. Okay. It looks like she'd go up muscle tone and stuff. Well, I was completely wrong, and I'm not like she knows. She knows. So
some of them look like they look the part.
Like, they look like. So I'm putting like a bar on her back, and like she's like Bambi, the knees are shaking and stuff like that. And she only told me today. Now this is a year and a half of training, and she's deadlifting 80 kilos now. You know, she's like squatting 60. She's unreal, the transformation in her strength. But she says to me here, the only reason why I went there, she goes, I went for a massage, and she was in some fancy hotel, can't remember the name, and she said the masseuse was massaging her, and after he says, did you enjoy that? And she was like, yes, I absolutely loved it. And he was like, I'm going to be completely honest with you, you've got zero muscle tone. It was like massaging butter. So she was like, oh, she goes, I don't mean to like hurt your feelings or anything like that, but you need to do something about that. And she thought about that. She was rolling on to 40, never lifted a weight before. So she was like, I actually need to do something about this. Yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? When people say it to you, but that's what kind of kickstarted her journey for her.
That is...
Yeah,
it's interesting what gets people started sometimes. Sometimes it is like big massive like life changing circumstances, or sometimes it's just like a tiny comment from some person, or you catch a glimpse of yourself one day and you're like, fuck, what happened there?
This is it. Oh, everyone has to start somewhere.
True,
you know,
true. It's a funny misconception as well though. I think a lot of people, at least people who haven't trained before, are under the impression that it's like a young person's game or whatever, where like, if anything, arguably it's more important the older you get to have a regular exercise routine. Yeah,
people don't realise how you lose muscle mass every year. So it's so important to do any sort of resistance training, not just in a gym, but even a couple of bands at home, a couple of dumbbells, just to be doing something for yourself to prevent a lot of kind of osteoporosis or anything like that may come in the future, you know. But once they get started and they realise the feel good factor that exercise brings, it kind of drives them forward. Not only their physical well-being, but their mental as well. I think a lot of people come for their mental state as well, and for that, like, just to get away from the kids, away from the husbands as well. Social thing as well is a big thing for
somewhere to
a
go
lot of the
and
girls
moan
in
about
the gym.
everyone else.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, I remember when I was doing my PT course, and this is going to lead into a question I want to ask you. But one of the exercises they got us to do, because generally not everyone, but most people who do PT courses would be people who are interested in the gym naturally enough. So chances are they're probably in somewhat decent shape and probably active enough themselves. So a lot of people who do the courses would probably not have as much experience actually living with the lifestyle of someone who's really overweight, for example, or really struggling, and being able to relate to their clients in a way where it's like, I can actually understand exactly what you're going through when you feel nervous walking into a gym, or, you know, when you can't sit up from lying down on a bench. So they got us to lie down on the floor and got like a 20 kilo sandbag or something like that, and just like put it on our chests. I was like, all right, stand up. It's like you had to try stand up with an extra 20 kilos on you. And it's like, fucking hell, how hard it is to do that with an extra 20 kilos. And then the reason they done it is like, well, this is how your clients will feel now if like they have an extra 20 kilos of body weight and they aren't able to do these things. For you, because you grew up playing sports, were kind of interested in that, did you find it difficult to relate to like clients who maybe didn't come from an active background, or how did you adapt to that?
I suppose, did I find it? No, I never really thought about, like, I never ever judged anyone for coming in for their size. I just seen a person that needed help, so I never really thought about that. I'm just saying, okay, well, for this client, the best approach is this. Talk to her about food, talk to her about how important it is to get your extra steps in, to be active, to choose the healthy choices, you know, to choose the healthy eating habits and stuff. But no, I never really thought about that. I just kind of worked with the individual person, see what she liked. If there's any exercise that they didn't like or didn't feel comfortable with, I'd be able to be good at kind of knowing that I'm not going to give her this, or I'm not going to make her do that, you know, that kind of way. And I wouldn't single anyone out if I knew they wouldn't be able to do something, you know, that kind of way. But no, I probably just went with it, and
deadly. Met the person in front of you, just worked with what they had.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Work their
sense.
Capabilities.
When you were getting into training, something that was really interesting that you mentioned was when you started training, it wasn't about like the scales or an outcome. It was like you had loads of little process goals, more so than outcome goals. So it was like, how can I do a chin up? How can I add this to a deadlift, etc.? Is that something that you'd work on with your clients to kind of pull them away from focusing so much on the scales and focusing them more on like performance sort of stuff? Yeah,
definitely. A lot of them, definitely. Most girls come into me, they say they want ass and abs, so that's what they want. So you try to pull away from that, or like say we're doing a full body workout and someone might say, can we do more sit-ups, because I just want to get rid of my stomach, you know, and you're trying to explain that you can't just target one area, you have to go through the whole rigmarole, the whole body, all the different body muscle groups. So yeah, no, definitely it depends on the client. It's most people, most girls, when they've hit their fat loss or their weight loss goals, then I'd encourage them to move over. Right, like you've nailed all your form, your technique for squat, bench, deadlift. Let's go through a process now, and we'll start progressive overload. I start testing with them then every kind of 6 to 8 weeks, just to give them. We might do a 1 rep test, and just to kind of keep them engaged and keep them motivated. I think everything else falls into place then. Once you're setting a different target or different goal, that's not only just how you look.
Yes.
And then everything else falls into place.
You mentioned motivation, and it's always like the $1 million question from people, in it. Like, how do I get motivated? How are you so motivated? What do you find works well with the girls, ladies you work with to keep them motivated?
To keep them motivated, I think just keep them like that, keep it interesting. I change up the programs all the time. So the way it works is we do like normally 4-week programs. You can join in at any time. We always keep the compound ones, the squats, bench, deadlifts, and then we do other days to kind of just keep it, as I said, keep it varied, keep it interesting, keep them coming, keep them excited. So what's going on today? And also we track everything so that they're looking back, say, after doing the same program for 4 weeks, and they've gone up 10 kilos on their squats, you know. That's how we kind of keep them motivated, that they have the goals in place, and all the trainers have their back, and we're all about form, technique, as I said before, and just working on that and progressing through each compound exercise. Then I might throw on a couple of competitions. We throw games or something we might put in, and we might link up the girls with each other and create teams. And then we do other stuff, like we might just go for a hike, or we might go for, I don't know, have a few drinks or something just to keep them motivated that way as a group.
Okay, sick, yeah.
At Christmas there we did awards. We did a couple of member awards. So I had 15 awards, like Rare of the Year or Mammy of the Year.
Rare
stuff
of the
like
Year, did you
this.
say?
Yeah, we had a few of them that won that one. Rare of the Year or Mammy of the Year or something like that. So we had a good up in, where were we, in Clondalkin Village? I can't remember the name of the pub now. But stuff like that kind of keeps them motivated. And we've created lots of friendships and stuff like that as well. And people cheering each other on all the time. It's very, very encouraging, very motivating place in general. So it's just making sure to keep it interesting.
Yeah, community aspect is important too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Sick. I think I have two questions, but I don't know which one it makes more sense to ask for. I think the one that makes more sense is probably, obviously you got into the fitness industry after recently enough developing an interest in like lifting weights and all that sort of stuff. Did you feel a sense of imposter syndrome in the early years of being a personal trainer?
Yeah, I did, in fairness. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, is this out of my depth as well, you know? But I think I just had such a passion in helping people, helping women, mostly, that I just kept going. I never thought much of it. I just kept saying, oh, I need to get in touch with more people. I need more people to come down. I just want to pass this feeling on. That was always my
what
starting
was the
point.
feeling? You've mentioned that a few times. I want to give them this feeling. What was it?
Yeah, just the feeling of how strength training makes you feel. Some girls that have been with me since I opened, they know, they have the feeling. You know what I mean? I'm like, she has it. I've passed it on to her. And the trainers that I've brought in, they kind of know where I'm coming from as well. It's creating this feeling, not just strength training. Anybody can strength train anywhere, but it's trying to just create the environment to do it in, the most comfortable environment for women. Women especially that have never set foot in a gym. That's just most of the women that come through my doors are women that are so afraid and so intimidated to go to a commercial gym where the lads might be looking at them or they don't know what they're doing. And it's that feeling that I had when I walked into that gym and hooked up with other girls in that gym and we all worked together, and then it was like a feeling of being in this good feel good environment. So that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say the feeling.
I get it. It makes sense. It's funny. It's like, I don't want to go to a commercial gym because lads might be looking at me. And then she goes to Ciara's gym. She's like, I won Rare of the Year. She's looking at me arse. I was like, here, hang on.
It's different.
It's grand with Ciara.
I'm like, I made that.
But no, it makes sense what you're saying. Like giving them a place that they can feel comfortable in that environment to go and then like take risks or do stuff they may not feel as comfortable doing in a commercial gym. And you mentioned like variety, keeping it interesting for them, the community, like a kind of competition element to it as well to keep it fun. But like, I think that's something that probably gets lost in translation sometimes on like social media. There's like an ideal world of fitness, which would be like, you know, just hitting everything as perfectly as you can, like every macro, every set, every rep. And that's like a nice ideal world for like the top 5% of bodybuilders or whatever else. And then there's like everyone else who's dealing with all the other shit that comes along with living a relatively normal life, like family, kids, work, stress, blah blah. And it's like, it's not about what's ideal, it's about like what would work best for you. And sometimes that might mean, you know what, I didn't get every gym session this week, I don't know, a hike instead, for example, or whatever. But it feels like it's more just the momentum of like just showing up each day and doing something in the right direction is more important than trying to be like 10 out of 10 every single day.
That's what I feel. That's what I do. That's the way I live fitness as well. Like I'm not 100% great with my diet. Like I'm 85%. The weekends I like my few Prosecco's, you know. I like to live as well, but I'm more so like a lifestyle change rather than just this quick fix to do a photo shoot. And that's kind of what I encourage in the gym. That's not all about 100% macros and stuff like that. So more lifestyle change is where I always go with.
So when you mean Adam was coming in from the gym earlier and I was leaving to go to the gym, and like we crossed each other on the way out, and we were like, the hardest part of any session is just putting your shoes on and getting in the car,
going. Just going.
Once you get
especially
there,
when it's freezing outside.
It was freezing today.
But it is, I think anything you can do, whether it's a community aspect or something else, to just get people to get up off the sofa and into their car and get to the gym. Once they're there, they'll enjoy it. And as coaches, we know that, but getting them to believe that they'll enjoy it.
It's just getting there as well.
100%. The second question I wanted to ask you was more from like I don't even know if you're in a position to answer it, but let's see how you get on.
Hit me.
Do you feel like being a woman, there was additional challenges you faced in the fitness industry or setting up a business or anything like that?
Setting up a business. No, not really. Not really. Not in terms of, no. No, I just, now to be honest, I didn't think, when I first set up the business, I didn't think it would grow as fast as it did.
Okay.
So I opened in August of 18, and by October I needed help because I didn't mind doing the 6 o'clock starts and the 9 o'clock finishes. But the class were growing, I just wasn't, and the people wanted PT, and there wasn't enough hours in the day.
You had like a 2-year-old or something at that stage as well, would you?
Yeah, and trying to, like, thank God I got a good support system in the background. But no, in terms of, no, I didn't think it was any different. I thought there was a lot of help, and Leo was amazing. They were so helpful with everything. Where I was in the unit when I first started, my neighbours, they were all men that owned gyms, owned units around. They were all so good to me. I was like, they reminded me, and it's the same now where I am. So all the neighbours kind of look out for me and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it was a good, positive experience. Probably just having a child was probably the hardest part of it.
How did you juggle that?
Trying to juggle it. Just, as I said, just trying to crash. Crash was great. I was like, leave him there for an extra hour or two. At the time, it was only a £5 an hour to leave him there for an extra hour. So it was grand, yeah. But like that, my mum at the time, she lived in Westmeath. She'd take him for a couple of weeks at a time to give me a good break to kind of get the gym sorted and stuff. And his dad, Dave, is brilliant. He's amazing as well. So he was so supportive. He's like a little silent partner. He's just in the background, amazing. And I've got good siblings. They were brilliant as well. So yeah, everyone kind of chipped in, and I'm giving back to them now. They've joined the gym. My 3 brothers are in the gym now.
Oh, nice.
And in-laws and stuff like that. And they're kind of, I was just added them into a WhatsApp group. I was like, new cliche, but new year, new you. January 24, put them all in a group, and they're coming down and kind of starting their sessions now and stuff. My sister as well. So yeah, they're just having that good support system. Was crucial. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Fair play. I can't imagine the stress, like, from the bits of experience we have trying to run fitness businesses and stuff, and then you layer in on top of that kids and all the other responsibilities that you were juggling at the time. Sounds like there's never enough hours in a day, but I'd say at that stage it felt like there wasn't enough days in the week.
Yeah, well, this is it. Well, it pays off, I knew it wasn't going to last forever like that.
Yeah.
I knew eventually that I was going to get more help. Now it was so hard passing the reins over to someone else. And at the time I had Sean, and he would have been one of my best friends' brother. He started with me, but I knew he wasn't with me long term. He was brilliant, and he was opening his own business as a driving instructor.
Okay. Right.
So I knew I only had him for a short time. So I had him, and then who did I have after that? I had a couple of kind of part-time girls coming in to help me out and stuff like that. Then when I moved to the unit that I am now, like, I have probably the best team. Like, there's Tara, there's Sandra, there's Audrey, there's Lee, and there's Ciara. So there's loads of us now.
Okay.
A lot of them are part-time and stuff like that, you know.
Course.
But come here, everyone knows how each other works, and it's great now that I've been able to build up to this, to take a little step back. I found after Mum passed away, it was so hard to balance, to grieve. I was straight back in. I was like, I'm so strong. She passed on the Sunday. I wanted to go back to work on the Monday. Like, it was that bad. I was like, just couldn't grieve, whatever. But now having a team and being able to kind of take that little step back a little bit, it's a bit daunting at times, because I like, what am I supposed to be doing if I'm at home for more than 3 hours? I'm like, I should be doing something for the gym, or my phone is constantly like binging. It's constantly on, and I'm constantly working in the background. But it's just trying to get used to that, trying to make sure that it's okay to like pass the reins on, and to like not be there 24/7. And you don't have to be there 24/7 when you have a team behind you as good as what I have now. So
Excellent.
So as I said, I'm only doing a couple of hours in the gym at the moment, but I'm always there in the background. My phone is always on for everyone, so I was just trying to work with that.
So you were talking there about that whole time during COVID and your mum getting sick and the rent needing to be paid and 2 classes a night on Zoom. You seem like a very driven person, but I think everyone has a breaking point.
Yeah.
And was there ever a point during that time where you felt like walking away from it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a few times. If something goes wrong like that with Mum being so sick, I was like to myself, I don't think I can do this anymore. I was like, I have to weigh up my priority is Mum now. How am I supposed to go on from there? How am I supposed to deal with this? The uncertainty as well. We didn't know how sick she was. We thought she'd get at least a year. So it was very, very quick. And the gym was just opening after lockdown, after years of lockdown. Like, the day she passed away, I was getting messages going, hey, can I get credits? You know? And I was just like, oh, no, they didn't know it wasn't their fault, you know? But yeah, definitely at certain times you're like, this is enough. I can't go. I can't do this anymore. And I get weeks like that still, where I'm like, where am I going with this? Have I reached, like, have I gone far enough? Have I brought this gym as far as I can? What do I want to do next? I don't want to open another one. Definitely not. No, definitely not. No way. No, one is enough. I can't split myself into that many pieces or into that many things. So I'm kind of at a stage now where I don't know what I want to do with it. I don't know whether I'm kind of stuck at the moment like that. I have a team behind me. I'm doing my own little bit at the side. And now I'm just sitting back for a few months just to see what my next step is, because I'm bored. I'm a little bit bored. Yes. You know, I'm a bit like, I'm a bit stuck myself now. So I'm just trying to sit back and see what I'm going to do next. But to answer your question, Lee, I have at times, but you kind of just have to get through the bad times and then the good times kind of come through again. You know, that kind of way you might get a new client you've just changed their life, you know. I might get a text saying, Ciara, you've changed, like I often get these, you've changed my life, I'd be lost without the gym, there's no gym like it. Those messages and that feedback, that positive feedback, is what keeps driving me forward. And then those thoughts and feelings of, am I able for this anymore, they kind of just disappear then, and then I'm grand again for another few months until something else happens. And I don't actually want this. But it's stressful. It is stressful. You know, you're paying bills, you're paying rent, taxes, you know, yourself, and things changing all the time, and you're always on the phone to someone. But at times it can be tough to kind of cope with all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's funny though, like this whole time, you haven't once mentioned money. And I feel like a lot of people get into entrepreneurship or setting up their own thing for a financial goal, which is obviously, you need money to survive. It's no way to knock on money.
Cost of coffees don't pay.
The podcast aren't cheap these days. But
I have a loyalty card in that shop on ground. That was a free one.
But I feel like in order to stick something, especially something like building your own business, like it's so hard. You need a bigger motivator than just money in order to keep you there, because there's so much more things out there that make more financial sense than risking it all to grow a business that may or may not work. Yeah. What keeps you going on those tough days?
Yeah, money was never the drive, the main drive or motivator for me. And look, come here, it's come with a bit of money, you know, but I've always invested that back into it. I'm lucky I'm in a position that I'm not the breadwinner. I don't have to. We're not solely dependent on this gym to be successful, to pay the mortgage or whatever. And anything that comes in from it, I put back in. So I'm thinking, right, what could I do better for my clients? They have invested a lot in me, especially the ones that are with me from the start, 6 years. And it's like, I'm not cheap, but I am cheap. I know I'm not that cheap. Now, I'm not the dearest around, but I think I give back. Like, they can see what they get back from it.
Yes.
That kind of way. And they're getting a lot. You book in your classes, you're guaranteed that there's always going to be someone there. We're very professional. We've never cancelled classes, or we don't, there's always someone show up. You are getting your kind of, I suppose, money's worth. And it just proves in the amount of the ones that stay so long, and the results.
Put a price on that
there's no price. Yeah, exactly. This is it. So it's guaranteed results. You're gonna make friends. You're in a great environment, and you kind of look after each other. And like I said, I'm always making improvements to the gym. So anything that I get, I put back into it, and they can all see that. So yeah, that's kind of now I like my little bit of shopping as well. I don't own TT, I like my little Gymshark bits. I like to buy them on the side. But I'm not a big spender. I never really want loads. Yes, I like where you like your holiday. You want to be able to kind of pick up things for max or whatever. But no, money is never the big motivator for me, being able to be in a position to help as many girls as I have is more motivating than anything else. To be able to give back to them and make them feel good and make their lives change and have a positive what's the word I'm looking for?
Impact.
Positive impact on so many people. That does it for me. That drives me forward. You know, so that's enough. Yeah, I never know how many clients I have. I never know what's coming in. I'm just like, is there enough to pay that tax bill? That's grand. You know? Oh yeah.
Imagine on Dragon's Den or something.
Oh yeah, it'd be brutal. It'd be brutal. I thought about that before. I'd never be able to know what the margins is. I'm like, it's enough to pay the rent, it's enough to pay the tax, that's grand. We'll keep
going. And see, is this month? No, grand.
Yeah.
I want to go back a few years because you spent, was it 11 years in hospitality or 15 years, did you say, total?
I started working when I was 15. I started working in a little, we used to have a mobile home, you know, years ago, your family used to have a mobile home in Derrybarrow in Westmeath. So first job was down there. I was doing 11 hour days. Loved it. Probably getting $5 an hour or something, but it was my own bit of money. Always loved hospitality. I'm a big talker and I love talking to people and stuff. And then I went into Eddie Rockets, and that was young as well. Yeah. Then up to Joelle's there a long time, and the manager actually of Joelle's at the time, he was opening his own place in Monkstown and asked me to go with him. So I was doing the trek to Monkstown for a while, bit long, bit far.
That's a trek.
That's when I fell pregnant, so that's when I gave up there. I went back to Joelle's and I was in the Louis Fitzgerald Hotel for a little while. But
shout out Louis Fitzgerald for the support.
Yeah, that's right. You seen that. But I always went back to Joelle's because it was a nice environment and the tips were good, and it was you kind of get to know the regular customers coming in and stuff. It was good.
So let's just say 15 years or so to keep it simple. Maybe a little bit less than that, but when you've been in something for that long, it can almost just feel like, right, this is what I do just because it's what I've done for so long. And I know so many people get stuck in a point where there's probably other stuff they'd rather do, but because they've been doing what they're doing right now for years and they're so like ingrained in that, and they kind of like just know what they're doing on a day-to-day basis and all the rest, it's really tough to like just turn your back on it and go and try something else. Whereas you done the opposite. You like drew a line in the sand of hospitality and said, right, I'm going to go set up a business in fitness. What drove you to make that decision to like cut your ties, I suppose, with hospitality and go start something new? And like, how did you find making that transition and stepping into a different world altogether?
Yeah, it was completely different at the start, but I suppose one main reason would be I always knew I could go back to it if it didn't work out. You know, I always knew I had a good place in Joelle's, and I was good at what I did there, and they knew that, you know. And the manager always said, if it doesn't work for you, you're always welcome back here. So that was good, you know. And then I suppose I just wanted to branch out and try something for myself, just venture out into this business, and if it worked, it worked. If it didn't. And thankfully it did. It took off fairly fast. But I just take risks. You know, if you're not happy somewhere, I'm just a huge believer, just get up and get it done. You know, if you're not happy, so don't talk about it, don't complain, just do something about it. You know, so I did, and there we are.
The biggest risk is doing nothing.
Yeah.
Sitting there 20 years from now looking back thinking, oh bollocks, why didn't I do that back then?
Yeah, this is it. I was only in there recently after having like not been in Joelle's in a long time. And all the staff are still there, the ones that I would have worked with. You know, they would have been a good few years older than me, so they're probably 10, 15 years older than me. They're all riddled now with arthritis from holding the plates and all. That could have been me.
It's like looking into a mirror.
It's like this job is killing us. I was like, but I was laughing at that part. All their different ailments now, but no, they were always great days, you know. And she's like, go back there. I often thought, like, God, less stress if I just stayed in Joelle's, you know, and just did my job instead of bringing it home. You know, that's the biggest part of owning a business. I think you're never switched off. You're never switched off. You know, you're always just on. And that's, I suppose, that's what probably brought me forward, brought me on so quick at the start. You know, I was like I have to text her back. I was getting back to people within minutes, just to get the client in, and you know, and I suppose I'm pretty good still at doing that, you know, but you just have to, it does take time to kind of find that balance about your work-life balance as well. Like, you know, it definitely, that's probably the hardest part for me. I struggled with that for a long time. I'm only kind of coming around it now, but like that I was just saying, like, now I'm a bit bored now. If it's a work-life balance, what we're going to do next? But I just open a cafe or something.
Yeah, just the pendulum will keep back and forth. It's like, I'm too busy, I'm too burnt out, and then you get everything in place so you don't have to be as busy, and it's like, all right, I won't be busy again, like give me more stuff to do.
This is it. I'm like, what am I doing? And I join a football team.
Exactly.
You know,
she even said that to me, actually, a bit of a side note, but in a voice message she was like, she's back playing football now, so she cleared out her Monday and Wednesday evenings for training or something, because that was meant to be her training nights. And then the manager said, we're just going to train Wednesdays for now. So she had Mondays free, so she just took on more clients.
I like these are my temporary clients. Okay, these are just temporary for a few weeks. And then I'm going to have to find you another hour.
It's funny, it's like, it's always like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? Frantic sense of needing to do something.
I don't know about you, but you like very time, like have to be, I'm here this time.
Yeah, I'd more so.
Very like this hour, then I've this. And Max does football, he's football mad as well. So he's got loads of like football activities, you know. He was doing 1-to-1 for a while, he's on a team and he's got matches and stuff like that. So I'm always tied to an hour, you know, that kind of way. But it's so funny, I was telling him that I was going to be on the podcast, you know, I was like, I might be on Spotify and stuff like that. And he's like, he still doesn't realise that he's always been brought up in this gym environment, you know. So it doesn't excite him, you know. I bring him down to the gym and he's not one bit excited. He's just like, this is what I've grown up with, you know, that way. But he turns around, she goes, Mom, who's your boss? And I was like, I'm the boss. He's like, are you? He still doesn't get the concept. It's the gym. It's
I
so
think
funny.
That's so
doesn't
cool
really
for
care.
him. We grew up with your dad self-employed, so we always knew that. But him growing up with his mom being self-employed, running a gym, so like fitness and health being such a big part of his life, and obviously seeing you doing that, playing football, doing all those other things, like as an example from a parent's perspective of kids, is deadly.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's definitely it's good. It's really, really good. It's so important for them, you know. Definitely. But if I can get his food now on track, really grand. His food is shocking. Yeah, it's really fast. We'll get there though.
I think it's good for people to even hear that from you though. It's like people might think, Ciara's kids probably eat like mad healthy because she's
I wish.
It's like everyone's juggling some shit, you know,
100%,
that way.
Yeah, no, nothing's perfect in anyone's life, you know, that way. And just because I'm into fitness doesn't mean that he's going to be eating chicken and veg. He doesn't, you know, he actually doesn't. I'd love if he had a bit more veg, but that's a work in process.
That's well, you made such a good point. Sorry to leave. I was going to say something, but the idea when I asked you about leaving Joelle's and like what was it that drove you to make that decision, you were like, I can always go back to it. It's like those jobs are always going to be there. And I remember when I was working in a couple of jobs before I went into fitness, same situation as yourself. There was like people who'd been there for probably like 20 odd years. I think I was like 16 or 17 at the time working there, and they were actually women, just out of curiosity or out of coincidence, and they were like, I've been working here longer than you've been alive, you know, like making a joke about it. And I was like, that's fucking horrible. It wasn't something to laugh about. Like they come in every day and sit there and moan about the job and how much they hate it or how shit they get treated or blah blah blah. I was like, the energy you put into like complaining and moaning, if you just took that and done something productive with it, you could easily get yourself out of this job and into one you actually want to do or maybe don't hate as much. But so many people just out of fear almost get stuck into it.
100%. Life's too short to be stuck in a rut and stuck in doing something that you don't want to do, you know. And as I said, like I'm at that stage now, like what am I going to do next? Do I really want, like definitely I wouldn't give up the gym. But I'm like, I'll never, like I'll always be there, but myself, I don't know what's next, you know, that way. Do I want to open a cafe or something totally different?
I'll definitely be in there.
You know, a few protein coffees.
Key Cafe, I don't know. Kikachino and all. Kikachino,
That's a good one.
I like it.
So it's just kind of,
in terms of business, myself and Adam take inspiration from a lot of different entrepreneurial figures. Is there anyone you look to in, like, I don't know, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or anyone in that kind of area that you draw inspiration from, or in terms of like building your business and anything got to do with your business?
To be honest, I am.
You just wing it?
The worst at like research and stuff like that. I just kind of, I don't. I am so bad at stuff like that. I never research into anything like that. No.
Any role models that you would have listened to, like podcasts you're big on, or books you liked or anything like that?
Never. I just do my own thing. I just do it and I try it, and if it doesn't work, I just try something else, you know. No, I don't. I actually just go with the flow and just do it, and it's been working for me, so I've never had to. I've never had to kind of look for, like, I suppose, or outsource any advice. I've just been kind of doing my own thing and going from there and growing from that, you know.
That's impressive. Sure is,
It's just laziness as well.
Arguably so. Is that like, I don't know if confidence is the right word. You don't strike me as someone who's arrogant, but you also don't strike me as someone who lacks confidence, because
being willing to go out on your own requires a certain amount of belief in your ability to make something happen. Would you describe yourself as a confident person, or is confidence something you've been working on over the years? Or
I don't know. I think I was a lot more confident than I am now. Yeah, I think I've diminished a little bit in confidence. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that I'm not like working as much, or in the gym and setting, like not coaching as much. I feel like when you're not doing something, your confidence does like come down a little bit, if that makes sense. And after Mum passed away, I never ever experienced anxiety until after that. So when I was hit with a bit of anxiety, I was like, what is this, and I felt my confidence like diminished again from that. So I think myself trying to build my own confidence back up. I feel like I was a lot more confident before life got in the way, or life experience and changes happened, and I'm working on that. Like, that's like joining a football team has been a huge thing for me to give me that back, that little bit of confidence, and just feel so much happier even just doing something for myself. You're always I'm praising everyone else in the gym. And I found that when I joined the football team, and he was happy with my performance of the first match, and he messaged me like a lovely voice now saying, you're unreal, you're brilliant, you're really enjoyed this. I was like, I felt like a big boost of confidence. I was like, that's so lovely, that's so nice. And I suppose I'm probably working. It's a work in progress for myself as well. I'm definitely trying to get back to the person that I was before I was hit with the loss of Mum. So definitely working on it. But I don't think I'm arrogant.
No. At least you haven't been for the last hour. You're hiding it well if you are. No, I don't get that way. But
it's interesting you mentioned, like, back when you were doing more coaching, that was kind of where you felt even more confident than the kind of role you're playing now in the business.
Yeah, I never expected to be in this role. I didn't want to be.
More like a managerial.
Yeah, I didn't want that. But you just found yourself, I suppose you get busy, but you can't do it all yourself.
Yeah.
You're bringing people in, like, they need hours, I feel like, taking that step back has probably been, the hardest part for me to kind of get my head around, because now I'm like an outsider looking in, really, and all the action I missed, all the laughs with the girls and all them hitting their PBs and stuff. Now I hear about everything, but I suppose being there and being so hands-on is what I miss most about it. But in the long run, you have to look at the two things and say, what do you want from it? Do you want to be there 24/7 while you have a child to look after? And you have to balance it. And I missed that. I never it was brutal. Still don't really know much about business. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be in this role, but here I am, and I suppose I can't complain about it. It's been the best thing, but it's just hard to adjust and adapt to the way it goes, that kind of way.
It's a new evolution, definitely.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
You mentioned the idea of like giving women that feeling is what you want. If it's just you who's doing it, you're massively limited in terms of how many women you can help. Like, you only have so many hours, and in that, so much energy that you can give to people. So it's almost like you have to pull back so more people can get that help and support from the other coaches who can deliver it.
This is it. Yeah, definitely. And it does require a lot of energy, it definitely does. And then the hardest part is, like, after all, when I went through that time with Mum, trying to get back into it, and I'd never bring any of my personal issues into the gym, and ever. Like, people wouldn't know what was going on. I was always that, oh my God, Ciara's so positive, she's so energetic and stuff. And that does drain the life out of you, especially when you're not feeling it. You're not feeling 100%, and you're like, oh, how am I going to be so positive when I'm feeling so low at the moment, So trying to get through that as well. But you just kind of work around and keep going.
Oh, you're doing well. You're in your eagle face. Did you see that? TikTok about the eagle? Yeah. Have you heard of it?
No, what was it?
Right. I don't know if it's real or not. It was just
have to get a sexy little edit for this.
It's a TikTok video that, like, I saw anyways, and then there was a UFC fighter the weekend who was like...
Oh, he didn't come up with it?
No, it was an actual TikTok. Fair. But basically, the idea is that, like, eagles live for, like, say, 70 or 80 years, but 30 or 40 years in, their, like, beak starts to weaken, and their claws start to, like, weaken as well, and they just become brittle. And so they're basically faced with a choice where either they continue through life in this weakened state, knowing that day by day they're getting worse, or they fly off to some rocky mountain somewhere, they smash their beak off the rocks, they smash their claws off the rocks, and they wait for them to grow back, because when they grow back stronger. And then that allows them to be strong and capable for the next 30 or 40 years of their life. So, like, you get to that point where it's like, either I continue as is and things will get worse, or I go do some hardship for a while
in the silence where nobody's watching, and then when I come back, I'll be refreshed and ready to go again.
Yeah, it's good. Definitely a good way of looking at it. Yeah. I'd love to take a year off and
go to the mountains somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
To Glendalough for 6 months.
And come back a new person. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you do. Sometimes you just need that refreshment, don't you? Just to kind of power down and just a kind of couple of days, I suppose, just to think. You know, I never really take much time off. Only to go on a holiday. I've never taken a week just to do nothing, you know. I just couldn't do that, you know, that kind of way. But that's what I need to work on, confidence, and being able to take a little bit more of a complete breakaway, you know, to come back stronger. But
that's all learning. You'll figure it out.
Yeah,
you're a smart woman. Just like you figured everything else out up to this stage.
Go with the flow.
It's impressive. Like, I'm not being condescending saying this, how little like strategy was behind it. So many people just get stuck in this phase of like planning everything out and like trying to write perfect plans. And in reality, what they need to do is just fucking do something. Test it out. And if it doesn't work, change it and tweak it. And it's like you've gotten so far, not by kind of almost procrastinating, but trying to like write a great business plan and like doing all this stuff. It's like, right, I have an idea, let me go and try it out. And then some challenge inevitably comes along. It's like, right, let's deal with that. And then the next challenge comes along. It's like, I'll deal with that. But every time you're learning something, you're taking action, you're moving things forward, etc. And it's carried you so far, which is why even though you're at a stage now where you might feel like, oh, I'm not really sure what's next, or is it the cafe, or is that like, I don't have the answers, but I'm confident you'll find the answers because of what you've done up until this stage. Yeah, exactly. And I think when it comes to confidence or belief, that's where so much confidence or belief comes from. It's not by like sitting there faking it. It's looking back on everything you've done or everything you've overcome so far and being like, I figured all that stuff out.
Yeah, I've got through that source. I've got through. Like we've had a lot over the last kind of 5.5 years to deal with between lockdown and all that as well. But like that, I'll figure it out. And I suppose I'm just sitting here on what I still don't really know, but I know time will come and I'll figure something out and I'll be grand.
It always does. It always does.
Yeah, just wing it again.
No, it's funny. I think a lot of people think of business as like a game of chess. Yeah, you have to like perfectly analyze each movement. You're over there, you're playing fucking pinball or something. You're just smashing everything.
My laptop takes about 30 minutes to turn on. I don't even know how to do Excel sheets. Like, you know, everything is paper. Like that's shoved in the bottom of my bag somewhere, or on my Samsung notes on my phone. I don't put too much planning into things. I just turn up and just get it done, you know.
That works for you.
Yeah, that works.
I think that's a great lesson as well, is not trying to feel like you need to fit a mold. It's like do what works for you.
Just do what works and just be there. And I suppose, just keep going the way you are. And you have the tools. I have the tools. I have the equipment. Like this, like gym is gym, fitness is fitness.
Yep.
You know what I mean? There's not much like more you can kind of plan into it. It's just, I suppose, it's just being the person that. Being the face of it, and I think that's the most important thing, and that's how kind of the gym has kind of blossomed to where it is now, is just, I suppose, a friendly face in the background and in the back of it all that's going to keep going as well. Like I'm not going to give up. I'm not a giver upper. I just keep going, you know, and if anyone's a problem they come to me and I'll try and sort it out. And it's just kind of in the background really. Don't do any planning. No, literally just go with the flow. My famous words.
I hear what you're saying, but I think like the role you play in the business is like the culture the culture the coaches give to the clients is from what you've created and what you create within the team. Then that way is like what gives out. And I think even for the coaches to have like the trust in your trust to feel like they can go out and like express themselves and like have an idea of what you want to be done, but kind of do it in their own way and create that.
They'll know the outlines.
Like, the worst place to be is to have like some micromanager who's literally watching over every session that they're delivering, you know, or like giving them every little critique of everything that they're doing wrong. Is like giving them freedom almost to express themselves.
100%. I'm all about that. I'm like this. I've changed this class to this title. Figure it out. Do what you want. What's it? Boot camp is, or a body camp, or whatever. Booty class or whatever you want, you know what you're doing. So I give them freedom to kind of do whatever they want. They know the basics, you know, the way I roll, you know, they know what I expect from them, and they know what the ethos is in the gym. So they know exactly. That, you know, they know what the clients that we're here. We're a friendly environment. We are just all about first and foremost safety, form, technique, and just do what you want after that. You know, make the girls feel 100%, make them feel comfortable. I always say all I want is you remember everyone's name that walks through that door, and you remember one thing about them, whether they've told you they're going on a hens on Saturday, or their mum is sick, or their sister's having a baby. If you can remember something about every one of clients, I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy with that. It's because I want it to be a personal environment, and that's what they do. They talk to them, they chat to them, and get the work done as well. So it's a good environment, and everyone kind of works the same way.
I have 2 more questions. Yeah, I've got some quick fires. So you can quick fires, mine are a bit more. I'm sorry about this.
It's all right.
Apologies in advance. The first question I would have, I know you work with men and women, but predominantly with women. What are some of the common mistakes you see women make when it comes to health and fitness?
Common mistakes? Let me see now.
In terms of like information they've taken that doesn't really make sense or isn't true, or just common beliefs that they hold.
Probably setting like the wrong goals, they're just coming in because they want to look good in the holiday they're going to in 3 weeks, that's a huge thing. I just want a flat stomach for going away in 3 weeks. I was like, it needs to be more of a lifestyle change. You're not going to get a flat stomach in 3 weeks, I suppose just going on a real like calorie deficit, 100 calories to get to a certain size in 5 weeks, this sort of thing, it's just trying to, I suppose, keep pushing them to believe that it's a lifestyle change and it's not a quick fix. I think that's the biggest mistake that girls make coming in, and trying to get their head around that they're not going to make these big changes overnight, that it has to be a long-term goal, more so than it. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, it does. I actually have another question on the back of that, but I keep them short and sweet. Do you feel like what women see online, on social media, and all that sort of unrealistic images of what a body should look like or could look like, do you feel like it does more harm than good for a lot of women?
Yeah, definitely. There's some great ones out there, and they'll like, obviously it's all about the angles and stuff, and they're like, they look great in certain angles, and I love as I said, I'm brutal at following people, or I just do my own thing. I'm not great at like researching. But the ones that I do see, I love the people that say, well, this is because I was sitting like this, or because I was sitting like that. I love the real ones. I love the real ones. But there definitely is, like, social media is a huge part of, especially the younger girls that come into me, like say 16, 18, 20. And they're like, I want to look like so-and-so off Instagram, and I'm like, she doesn't look like that in real life, or whatever. I don't definitely feel like there's a huge impact, a negative impact on younger women. Not so much the older women, the ones that come into me, like, they're not on social media, they're just coming in to make themselves feel better, or for, like I said, a lifestyle change. But yeah, no, definitely for certain type people, Instagram, or not Instagram, but social media in general is a tough one to deal with.
Nice. Last question from me. What's one piece of advice you'd give to anybody entering into the fitness industry and looking to open up their own gym?
Be prepared to put the hours in. Just be yourself. Create a niche. Doesn't have to be all about photo shoots. It's just, people just want to get fit, and the normal Joe Soap just wants to be able to come in, do their 3 sessions or 4 sessions a week, and live a good life as well. All about that 80-20 rule. So you don't have to push for a certain look. Just let people come in and do their own bit of fitness and feel good about themselves. I think that's, definitely, and be prepared to put the hours in. And was there anything else? No, I think that's about it.
Nice. All the hours.
All about the hours at the start, anyway.
From all your years in hospitality, what would you say are some like lessons you took from that time that still apply to now in the fitness space?
Dealing with people. Yeah, I think working with the public and being able to kind of work with different personalities. I was always told I'm good at that, especially for girls coming in. I can always relate to different personalities, and I can kind of, like, not judge people, but I'm able to kind of work with people, all different walks of life, all different goals and stuff like that. So I think that's, from working in hospitality, that's a huge thing. I think if you can work in a big restaurant, you can work anywhere.
Trial by fire.
I think I've got a lot from that. Definitely.
Nice. I wasn't planning on asking this question, but you were a manager in Joel's, was it, for a little bit?
I was like a supervisor in Eddie Rockets.
Is there much that you'd take from when you were managing in those spaces to what you're doing now, like managing the girls in the gym and the role you're playing there?
I suppose In terms of like the clients, you mean? Or
no, so now that you're almost a manager within the gym, managing the coaches who are there, is there much that you take from?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit kind of the same, you know, you're managing, like you're doing rosters and you're making sure that there's someone there at all times, you know, and no one's going to let you down, and you're looking at your backups and stuff. I suppose a lot of things still apply, a lot of ways, and what I used to do in Joelle's, or not Joelle's, in Eddie Rocks now. To be fair, I was 18, so I'm trying to remember what it was like. I wasn't doing it for that long. Like, but and I looked about 12 as well, so nobody took me serious. But I suppose it's probably a little bit different in ways as well. Whereas it's my business that I'm managing now, and it's not someone else's. So I have my own different ways of doing things. But I think the girls know the way I manage things, and they just work with me as well, so it makes my life easier as well.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. Definitely. What would you say is the most common traits you see in the most successful clients?
Discipline. Yeah, discipline is a big thing, and just turning up. You know, the ones that turn up are like we've had huge transformations, like not just physically but just mentally, and they're always the ones who just show up when they don't want to. When the times get tough, and they just couldn't be bothered like that, putting their runners on to get into the car to come down, and they do, and they come down, and it's just everything just falls into place. A couple of months down the line, they're still going, and they just love it. They just turns into, I couldn't be, like I've so many girls that they couldn't be without the gym, you know, and they've told me that. And then when times get tough for me, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, do I really need to keep going with this? I look at them and I'm like, I go back into the gym for a day, and I'm like, Sharon's here since, so like, look at Sharon, like she'd be lost out here, where Selena was like, she's got so much from this place, how could I take that away? Like, just have to keep going, you know. And there's always people joining, and if people leave for some reason or another, they'll always come back, you know, and they'll say, I went somewhere else, it's just not the same. I just didn't get the same. Didn't get the same experience. I just couldn't do it on my own. Or they might go to a commercial gym. They walk in and they might go once and never go back, you know.
Yeah.
And they'll come back and say, no, I get so much from this place. And it's not just me. Like, yeah, I'm the foundation of it, I suppose, but it's the other clients. And like, I'm so thankful to the clients that are with me from the start, because they have helped to get to where it is now, because they're the ones that are there, and they like, a new girl will come in, and like, I'm so proud, and I see 2 or 3 go over and say, you new, come on, we'll show you the ropes, you know, this is where this is, and like, they need to do my job for me.
Yes,
you know, because I'm like, you were here new at one stage, weren't you? And they were like, yeah, we know how it feels, come on, we'll help you. Like, you know, they're nearly doing my job for me, and I'm just sitting back, and I'm like, this is amazing. That's kind of I don't even know, I'm gone off on a tangent again. But that kind of what's for me, that's what kind of drives it forward for me as well. Like, you know, and that sitting back then looking in the background, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing a good job, you know, that kind of way.
Yeah, so definitely. That's massive. Let's say there's someone who's watching and they're like, right, I've listened to Ciara talk for the last hour and a bit.
Ramble.
I'm motivated. I want to get going. Haven't done fuck all in the last few years, but I want to start losing weight. Where would you recommend then to start?
So what I'd say to anyone, kind of like, I get messages from everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Yeah. So what I say is, a lot of them will start with a message saying, I'm so nervous, I hate myself. I hate myself. Can I come down? What's your membership? Blah, blah. I'll never talk about money first. I'll say, come down. I never talk about memberships. I'll say, come down, see how you like the vibe. I said, jump in. I'm doing this class. I'd like to do your beard there for your first class. Come in, see what you think about it. You're not obliged to sign up to anything. If you need to take 2 weeks, if you need to take a week, if you want to try the different class options that we have, come down, see how you like it, and then we'll go from there. So most of them will come down and they'll be like, I love it. How do I sign up? Or they'll come back the next day and try a different class, and they'll decide kind of what route they want to go down. Like, I do route PT, and then I do classes, which is more class. They're more kind of higher intensity, more cardio based. And some people prefer that style of training. Everyone has their own little style. For me, it's the weights. I just love the weights. And I like the mix, but primarily if you get your 3 weight sessions in, and then everything else is a bonus. That's the way that's what I like to do. But I do understand that people just like our commitments if they can only make a session or 2 sessions a week. It just depends. So they'll come down, I'll introduce them, and they just get the good vibe from the start, and then they'll click. And if, look, come here, hopefully they'll join us. If not, it's not for them, you know. People just need to find the place that suits them. I think that's so important. Like, there's a place out there for everyone, you know. That's where I'd kind of bring people in.
What about from a diet perspective? Where would you generally point people to start? Because that can be a tricky one.
Set with diet, like I say, first of all, I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not going to give you individual plans. I don't. I'm not sure if you're on certain medication, what you should, like, I'm not going to claim to know all that. Yes, I can give you advice, I can tell you, but everyone knows what's healthy. Everyone knows what they should be and what they shouldn't be, and everyone knows that there's whatever calories in a cappuccino as opposed to Americano. So it's just, I just encourage them to change their lifestyle habits, like change their coffees, change their milk to whatever, get their protein every meal. I'll recommend how many grams of protein they should be on and stuff like that. If they really want to go down the kind of macro route, I have a trainer, Sandra. I direct them to her. She's better at that than me, and I'm better. I'm not better at the exercise, but I'm more into the exercise side of things, and I get more from seeing people grow in strength. And she's brilliant at that nutrition side. So I'll give all the advice if they want, like, recipes, stuff like that. I'll definitely help them with that. But I'm not great. I'm not one to be like, right, you need to do chicken and veg or whatever. I'm not great at going down that way. She is. So I'll push them onto her. She's better at that than me.
That makes sense. Makes sense. And I know a big thing for people is the idea that they're almost like, they might be perfect Monday to Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday they might kind of go
undo all their work.
What would be your advice to people who maybe have a bad day or, you know, mess things up and they're kind of beating themselves up?
A bad day is not a bad one, so don't turn it into a bad one. So I'd say, like, if you're going down the calorie route, maybe keep an extra. If you want to enjoy your weekends, keep an extra 100 calories per day to maybe have your cheat meal. But people think a cheat meal is a cheat day. So that's the biggest thing. Just make healthier choices. Like, you can go to a restaurant and you can have a burger without the bun, without the chips, and just a bit of salad and a bit of veg. So I kind of just encourage them to kind of choose the healthier options. And overall, hopefully they're still in deficit at the end of the week, you know. And just because it's a bad day, it doesn't mean it has to be a bad week or a bad month. And just keep going, you know. Just try and encourage them a little bit. Yeah.
So don't beat yourself up too much.
Don't beat yourself up about it.
Push it off. Get back on track again.
It's not the end of the world.
Right. For yourself, Ciara, we always like to ask these questions. What would be your death row meal, or like your favourite cheat meal that you like to have if you're being off track?
I actually heard you asking this the other day on one of the podcasts. I was like, what would be mine? I actually don't know. I think I'm so programmed just to eat not the right thing, but the healthier thing. Like, I'd go into a restaurant and I wouldn't even think to order a burger or a pasta dish or something. I just always go for the Thai green curry I just always do that. I'm not a big takeaway person. The odd time I'd have a Camille Thai.
Nice, yeah.
I like a Camille Thai, but like that I'd go for like the chicken with the cashew nuts and the rice. Like, it still wouldn't be.
Blowout, yeah.
My biggest downfall is probably my Prosecco. I love Prosecco, The girls always slag because I would do a Prosecco and program once a month, where I do the program. I sit down with my ancient laptop and my glass of Prosecco. By the time I have one glass of Prosecco, by the time the thing turns on, and I get the program done for the month. So that's like my Prosecco and program. But I'd kind of keep my calories for a little glass of Prosecco at the weekend or whatever, the bottle of Prosecco at the weekend.
I went from a glass to a bottle really quickly. I wonder the laptop doesn't turn on. She's like half cup, trying to press the button. Why isn't that laptop turning on? She's touching the microwave. The oven.
But not really. I wouldn't have a real go-to. Probably a Camille Thai if I was to get a takeaway. Lovely. Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah.
Meal Thai, glass Prosecco.
Yeah, that's nice, the ideal night.
Cheap date.
A few programming,
I said she's not the cheapest around, but she's not the most expensive either.
I think Domino's probably cheaper. True. Deadly.
Last thing then, if you could change careers, right? Let's imagine you press pause, you could put fitness on the side. Is there anything else you'd like to do, or any other industries you'd like to get into?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know why I always said I'd love to work in a hospital. I don't. Yeah, I always wanted to work in hospital. I don't know. I think it's probably that love of helping people. Maybe I don't know in what way. Don't be a doctor or a nurse or anything like that. Maybe just in the background watching. But yeah,
just handing out lollipops to the kids. Or something.
Definitely not on the computer anyway. I don't know. Not really. I suppose I never thought. And I suppose I'm at that stage now where I'm like, do I keep going with fitness? Like, how long do you keep being a personal trainer? Do you know what I mean? It's not really something that you can really do in your 60s or your 50s. You know that way. So I'm probably at that stage where I'm like, am I going to change career eventually? Or I'm kind of at that thinking. Yeah, that thinking time. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But for now, I'm happy. Doing what I'm doing.
Cool. That's all that matters, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Indeed. You got any more?
No.
All good. I'm all good. Lovely. Well then, Ciara, we'll leave it there. But thanks very much for coming down. It was really cool to chat to you and see like the trials and errors that have come along the way, and like how many different careers it kind of took you to get to this stage. And even now you're at a stage where you're like, do I keep going down this path? Do I go somewhere else? But the same, I think, principles, let's call them, that have got you this far will continue to get you to whatever comes next. So you've got 2 fans in your corner here who'll be here every step of the way. But thanks for coming down.
Actually, one last question.
Oh yeah. If anybody wants to find, of course, CiFit, where you're at, if they want to join the gym,
CiFit, whatever you want to call it.
Where's the best place to find you?
Probably Instagram or Facebook, and my phone number, I suppose. Everyone kind of text me in different angles anywhere, but or even just drop in. We don't open for the whole day. We close the break between 12 and 4, but hit me up on the socials and come down and do a trial class and see what we're all about.
Cool. CiFit in, what's the name of the industrial estate you are?
Clondalkin Industrial Estate.
Clondalkin Industrial Estate.
Yeah, nice. Just behind the water side there. Yep. That one there, it's kind of close to the entrance, so really? And there's loads of parking.
There we go. Most important thing.
The most important thing. Thanks so much, guys.
All the best.
Thanks a million. Thank you.